And this is no disrespect to Henchero or I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his name. No
Hibachi.
disrespect.
Here comes trouble!
It's the Anthony PG rolling once again with that BT Bishop taking up the whole screen. Got myself Nikki the Good, and we have the Meat Pop Express, and boy, to be on the jam-packed episode for you today. And we're getting close, Ben. The sun is shining.
It
Okay.
is.
The ocean, it's cold, but it's
It's
about to heat up,
glistening.
brother. It's about to heat up,
Sure
brother,
is.
because the war on the shore is right around
BT
the
double
corner.
B by the sea is
BT
around
double
the.
B by the sea. Is that a shirt yet? Did you make
Nope,
that
not
yet?
yet. It will be.
Well,
New
we
shirts
are going
coming
to
today.
be in Point Pleasant, New Jersey on July 16th for the War on the Shore, presented by Fight Factory, Dave Sturcio, Tommy D. The whole
Chris
crew is going to
Payne.
be there. Chris Payne's going to be there. I didn't want to get his name fucked up again. I called him Mike Payne last time, but it's all right. He booked me
That's
already. I have his money in my deposits. Big, in case you guys are curious. So we got that coming up, man. July 16th. I'm pumped, man. It's my first
I'm
wrestling
very
show that I've
pumped.
ever
You're good.
performed
Look
at.
at you. You're excited, aren't you? It's
Yeah, I
fun.
actually,
It's fun. And this is a good one. This is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be streamed on Premier Wrestling app. So there you go, Dave. Another shout
another
out for your
plug.
app there. Another plug for the app. Some amazing talent's gonna be on the show. Matt Cardona, Joey Janela. I mean, the guy might as well be the king of the Jersey Shore at this point. With Steph DeLander, Lady Frost, Santana. Jordan Oliver. I mean, you go down the list. It's an absolutely jam-packed show. I will be in the ring with three other big-time hosses, absolute units on the pro wrestling scene on the East Coast scene up in the Northeast. Falaba, Colton Charles, and Vargas will be the three I will be going up against. You know, obviously your guy, old BT Double B, will have his hand raised.
Sure.
I guess not to the rafters, probably to the clouds, because we will be outside in the sand. It's going to be the ring is going to be set up on the sand on the beach on the Jersey Shore. What a backdrop that's going to be. Hope to God it doesn't rain.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. Please,
But
Jesus Christ.
you know what? You know what? It doesn't matter. I'll go out there and perform anyway because I'm a team player. And guess who's and Dave, who's been promoting this show more than anyone? More
Yeah,
than anyone
Dave.
on this show? Dave, come on. Come on, you know Dave, Chris, Tommy. These two guys, these two handsome some bitches on your screen right now. We're the ones promoting the hell out of War on the Shore, aka BTWB by the Sea, July 16th, Martell's Tiki Bar. Can't wait. Awesome.
I'm thinking we get bottle service. I think
Yep,
that should be in the contract that we signed. If
I
not,
think so
they
too.
should put it in there. And I also just want to say before we get into kind of the actual show is that, after today, and I've just put out a tweet earlier today, after July 16th, the War on the Shore, where I make my debut, I will have more experience in the wrestling business than Dave Meltzer.
Yes, you will.
As
Yes, you
soon
will. Yeah,
as
that's
as
point blank
soon
period.
as the music hits, as soon as you hear "Here Comes Trouble," I am more credible than Dave Meltzer. I already am, but this will be official. This is like Wikipedia official. Okay, put it in my Wikipedia. I have more experience in the wrestling business, and I'm a vet than Dave Meltzer. Okay, so
Just facts.
the big news coming out of pro wrestling this week. There's a few things. Okay, there's a few things that went down. We're gonna hit the big ones. Okay, but the biggest one of them all, obviously, was the long-awaited return, or not return, debut
I guess he
of
kind of returned, but really
he
this is the
did
real debut, I think.
the Wyatt Six. Showed up on
Spelled cool
Monday.
too.
It was highly anticipated. All the QR codes was what's funny about the QR codes is that you don't like you're just following them to follow them. They're just going to show up on a date, right? So it's like
Mhm.
you're just along for the ride because it's just cool content. But at the end of the day, it's like it's not really any like major mystery. I always think
No,
that's funny.
it's a big hype. It's just a hype thing. It's just
Yeah.
a different way to have a hype video instead of having a hype video or a vignette. It's just different. It's a different type of vignette. That's all
What
it
was
is.
your take from it?
I mean, production wise, I thought it was extremely well done. Very cool. I mean, it looked like a haunted house when they went back through the gorilla position and have all the bodies laying there. Um, I think each person getting a little bit of shine, showing each member of the Wyatt Six. And I don't know. I mean, in that sense, it was extreme. It was like a horror movie, and it was so well done. I don't know if you noticed this though, and this would have been absolutely shocked, Master X. Did you notice Uncle Howdy almost
He almost
tripped?
tripped. Yep. Yep.
Almost.
He almost tripped.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh boy. That I mean, that had to be tough being in the mask in the dark like that. Like there's not much light. I mean, but whoo,
And
man, thank
luckily he was
God.
doing, obviously he's pulling from a little bit of Jack Sparrow. Like I think that's pretty like I mean, at least that was my take. Is like as soon as I saw him, I was like, that's Jack Sparrow. Like
Yeah,
the way that he's moving, like it's kind of like that Mox movement, but it was
yeah,
legitimately Jack Sparrow to me. And like I think that was a lot of I mean I could be dead wrong, but it looks like it was inspired by Jack
yeah.
Sparrow.
Oh,
Um,
that would have been bad. My one take on it though, Nick, is this is what I'm going to say about this whole gimmick. I think we saw how well the Wyatt family worked and how they'll be always remembered in wrestling lore forever. You know, you can credit that to I mean you can credit to all three of them, but obviously the mind of Bray Wyatt was the catalyst for success of that group. Now, the one thing I just hope we don't get into, you know what does it like the cult type of like crazy type of character does work. I just hope we don't get into like supernatural because it doesn't in this day and age, it does not work on pro wrestling.
I don't think they're going supernatural.
I hope not.
I think that you're going to get the entrances in gimmick, and I think they're coming off, and I think they're just going to be regular people. I think what's the way I look at it was this is that I this was my take on it because everyone's like, oh, they had like a gunshot wound to the head, so and so, this person, that person. I still think there's a shot that what was inside there was essentially the Firefly Funhouse, meaning what happened in there happened in Bray's head
Mm,
because the Firefly Funhouse is basically is Bray's thoughts. Like that is
yeah.
his insecurities. Like it's been documented that that's kind of what it was. I think that when they went through, like that's what we were seeing. Cause like, look, the puppets were in there, right? And they essentially were coming back to, they essentially came to life in human form, right? Just as characters. Because I mean, these people were like bludgeoned, bro. Like that was like Chad Gable, like I don't know if that's supposed to be a gunshot wound, but I mean, it looked like a gunshot wound. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what anyone else thought. So I'm thinking that maybe like Chad Gable just shows up on Raw next week and is perfectly fine and is like, what are you guys talking about?
Mm,
I think they
mm.
could go down that route because I just don't see how you can't that even if it's a TV show, like they murdered people.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We can't get into like actual, it is a TV show, but obviously it's like reality. It's like reality TV, right? Like it's
Right? Like,
scripted. That's what it is. So you can't just say you killed someone because it's just everyone's like,
so
okay,
that's
let's
my theory. And I may
yeah,
make a rant on that before Brawl. Like maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll air that because next week, guys, by the way, Ben and I are both traveling the entire week. So I'm probably going to push something out earlier in the week. But I think before Raw, I'm going to rip something and I'm going to go into my theory. I'm going to go into
I
that
like
theory.
it.
I believe that what we saw was the Firefly Funhouse extension, and
Mm,
that everything you were seeing was the massacre that occurred in Bray's head. And then they came out through it. And they came out like obviously they couldn't come out through the door because Eric Rowan's big ass probably couldn't fit through it.
mm.
But they came through and they basically came to life before our eyes. And that's where they are. That's my theory, Ben. Do you think there's any legs to that potentially?
No, I like it. I like it. I just hope they don't. It's not all of that, and it's not just a bunch of because that kind of gets into that supernatural type of vibe there. I hope maybe that's how where it ends, and now we're out of Bray's head, and now it's like their own thing.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
I think vignette wise, you'll get a lot of this stuff still, but I don't think you're
yeah.
going to see any like lightning bolts on screen, is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping we stay away from. If we stay away from that, we keep it as like just a cult following, and they praise Bray Wyatt, and they're followers of him, and they're going to continue his
Yes. His
um
word, his message.
word, his message, his path. Then yeah, okay, then I'm all in on it. I think it's going to be great, and I think obviously having Bo Dallas, Taylor Rotunda, if you want to call him Uncle Howdy now, leading the pack is perfect.
I was also very happy that they didn't stick him in the big mask and that he got basically the Undertaker, like broken orbital
Yeah,
mask.
yeah,
He
yeah.
looked great. Like Uncle Howdy, I thought looked great. And I thought that the costumes were done very well in the
Oh, they were
sense
top notch. Yeah.
where like you could tell that their movement, like they could have movement in those, meaning like once the masks come off, they're gonna be able to operate. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't too Rowan's obviously wearing a big fucking bunny mask,
Mm-hmm.
rabbit head, but that's coming off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been, you know me, I don't think people understand how big of a fan I am of Bray. Like Bray was really hard for me because he honestly was like, I dressed like I told you, Ben, I dressed in Hawaiian shirts for years. I mean, he
It
well
was such a cool character. It was
Bray
so it
debuted in
was
2013, right? Like around
yeah,
2013.
2012 or 2013. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because in 2016, for those of you who don't know, I was in Rock the promo. I was in the Rock's wrestling contest, right? And one of 32 on the YouTube. He launched his YouTube channel with the promo contest, and I got in. And my character was the vacation, but part of that was because I owned so many. It was the last day. I'm getting on a little bit of tangent here. It was the last day to submit, Ben. And my brother was like, "How have you not done anything?" He's like, "This is exactly what you want and what you should be doing. You do this all the time in the car." And I was like, "What can I be?" I just looked. I was like, "I have a ton of Hawaiian shirts," and that's where I came up with the vacation. But I had the Hawaiian shirts because I was a fan of Bray. So that's that little story. Um, Moving on. Anything else left on this Wyatt Six?
No, I think we covered it. I'm looking forward to your rant though.
Gun to your head. Who's the first feud? Who do they attack?
Gun to my head. I mean, I think first feud, I think you gotta go after I think like a Sami Zayn or something like that.
I think it might be Randy.
Now Randy, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's weird. Is it gonna be like a one-on-one? Is it gonna be I don't know. It's so hard with a faction sometimes to book it correctly because you want to make everybody look as strong as possible. And who's it gonna be? And obviously, I guess it's supposed to be highlighting Uncle Howdy, but
He's not wrestling first. It's going to be the others first.
yeah, I guess I know. Yeah, so it's tough. I don't know the angle with this, like I really at all, which is great. I'm happy I don't. I'm happy there's
You
no
know
like,
what's going to be
oh, it's
big?
gonna
You know
just
what's going to be huge for them? Survivor
what?
Series.
Yeah, yeah. Now, don't hopefully it
That'll
doesn't
be
get
big.
killed off like the Nexus though.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
As long as Bray's name's attached to this, it's going to
yeah.
be treated delicately. Um, Moving along, the other thing that was I think big was what was it? What the fuck? Oh yeah, the Drew McIntyre did not leave with the title, Ben. What do you think about that?
I think it was the right call. I mean, we called that last week, and we just said that it was going to be. It looked like it was going to be a Punk interference. It looks like we're leading towards Gunther and Damian Priest. I think it would have been because at the end of the day, they're gonna put the title on Gunther.
Yes.
I think it's a SummerSlam. So if you put it on Drew and then he loses another 2 months to just a Gunther and drops it, now you get two guys that had 2 month reigns, and it looks kind of silly, right? You already have Drew and Punk set up. That's a built-in feud. That's bigger than the world title at this point. So there's no need. The title isn't needed for that feud whatsoever. You, they've already built it up enough that there's nothing. We know what the stakes are and we know why they're mad at each other. There's no need for I need to beat you for the title.
They
So
haven't had a wrestling match, and it is the
no,
hottest feud in
yeah,
wrestling since January.
yeah, yeah.
What
And it's probably
else?
gonna happen at SummerSlam. I mean, so you got like 8 months right there of just a feud without even touching, basically. We're
Well,
barely touching.
that's the other thing. Like, if you don't have priests retain, you're basically cutting out about 3 months of business. No,
Yeah, absolutely. No,
like
you are.
they needed that. Like, if Drew wins the title, there's only you have to go to what? Then it's like, oh, does Priest get a rematch? Like, what do you do? Like, oh, he's just done. Okay, now he's with Gunther for no like Now it's just Damian Priest is gone. No, this was always the right move to do it. I'm so happy with the way it worked out. I wish Punk
Hmm.
didn't wear Jordans. That was the only thing that I wish, because as soon as I mean, first of all, like I knew Punk was going to get involved, and the camera shot was interesting. It was it was incredibly shot. But once I saw the Jordans, I was like, I kind of wish you just wore black sneakers. But I also get
Yeah.
like you're not planning to be the referee, so you would just wear whatever shoes you have on.
That's the other thing. And I thought it was filmed. I thought it was filmed really well. Like, and how it was how when he came in, they slid in, the camera was in that right position or right behind him. And I mean, we kind of knew it was him, but
Yeah.
it was still a cool reveal that they saw Drew's face like, "Oh, what the hell?" And then they panned, and obviously it was Punk. But I mean, again, we talk about this already. The camera work has been unbelievable, bar none. So it's just
I mean, it's not crazy to say that production has been WWE's biggest star since
yeah,
Vince left.
yep,
I mean, it
100%.
just, I don't even want to know what the Wyatt Six would have looked like under Vince. Like he would have legitimately had like puppets in the fucking ring,
Yeah,
like fighting Braun Strowman. Like he would have had
absolutely.
like a 2-inch fucking pig puppet. I love
Uh,
them how they hid them in the back. Like you always got to keep your eyes peeled now on Raw and SmackDown. Like you
yeah,
can't
you
just
do.
take anything for granted.
That's the cool stuff is that now they're like there's little things that are happening that people don't really there's like little things that are happening that aren't right in your face, but you have to kind of be like, but because they know that people are going to pick it up on Reddit and on Twitter, that someone's going to see it and someone's going to be like, oh, I saw this. And all of a sudden it's getting picked up. You don't need to like throw it in someone's
They
face and be like, this is what's happening.
understand. They understand that you can use the internet in a real way,
Yes.
in real time for shows. Also, it gives the sense, it establishes that things going on in the back are part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, they traveled here. Yeah, they're all part of a crew, but there's still animosity in the locker rooms. They still
Yes.
have to go to work. And like this is all part of what's going on screen. So I thought about that. And then moving into AEW, my takeaways from AEW is this. I don't even know if you watched. I watched a little bit here and there, but here's what my takeaways are. Number one, Forbidden Door is so disgustingly dead. It's so dead. It's so fucking dead. This should be the absolute last year of Forbidden Door because it is forbidden from being good at all. I do not know who that fucking guy is that is fighting MJF. That is the first time I have ever seen that person. Of course, Sarah knew who it was because she loves to torment herself and watch god awful wrestling, and for some reason likes the CMLL. This
Is
guy,
it the guy Henchero?
yes,
Henchio?
yes,
No. Oh,
this
okay.
guy should not be in the ring with MJF. Is there no one else? Like from Troy, is there no one else? It's MJF. No disrespect to this guy. Ain't nobody know who you are. Nobody knows. You just appear on the screen with the mobile embassy out of fucking nowhere, and you just have a match with MJF. Like, was Roosh not good? You just had a good match with Roosh. At least I know who Roosh was. At least I can spell Roosh's name. That was not good. It was not good. Your
Yeah, I
thoughts
don't.
on the CMLL
I
making
mean,
taking over
here's the
Dynamite?
thing. These guys, I'll have a little bit of a softer take here.
Oh
You
God.
know, I mean, no, I'm just saying that like they're for a certain fan base. All right, like these guys, all power to them. Your guys are great at what you do. You're Lucha Libre. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of Lucha Libre, and that's okay. Some people are, like our good friend Sarah, and she likes this type of stuff, and good on you. You know what? But I just don't know why MJF's first feud on a major pay-per-view is with a guy that no one, he's your biggest star. And then since I never saw like Steve Austin just having a random match with Blue Scorpion or Blue Dragon from
I'd
Japan. Like you
rather
never
watch Blue
saw that.
Scorpion, Blue Dragon
Like you
than the
never saw that.
CMLL.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like it's like yeah, he's a big might have been a big star back in the day in Japan, but Vince isn't bringing him in to fight Austin
Dude, you're
on
not
the
even
King of the Ring.
and I understand Tony caters to a specific audience. This is like even smaller than that. Like, there's can't be many people. There's got to be maybe 50 people in the United States that know really truly who that guy is.
You know what?
Like,
If you want to do a Forbidden Door, bring a big independent wrestling star in to wrestle MJF that people know in the States. Bring in somebody like an Effie, right?
yeah,
Like someone like that people are like, oh my God, okay, Forbidden, he's not signed anywhere,
like
but
change the concept of the Forbidden
yeah,
Door to a degree. But the
yeah.
problem is that now Forbidden Door is shit on because WWE is doing this shit with TNA. Forbidden Door's got to go away. It has to. It was a cool concept. It was a one-off. It was great balls of fire for WWE. Like it was a concept. It was a moment in time when you had these superstars on the indies that everyone really wanted to see on a global scale. It's over. These guys are not worthy of television time right now, especially with the return of MJF and what's going on. Not to mention, you can't even like you're using Forbidden Door and you're having what I thought was an excellent promo from not Okada, from Osprey. We'll get to Okada lately, my boy. From Osprey and Swerve Strickland. They did a great job in that ring of selling the main event, but the main event is that motherfucking Forbidden Door when it should be at a marquee show, stalwart for AEW. That's also what I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen in that main event. I mean, I think since we're not gonna have a take on it next week before the show, I mean, I think there's gonna be some type of fuck finish there because
Swerve has to hold
you
the belt.
can't
He can't give it
he
up, right?
swear he can't give it up at this pay-per-view. I mean, they're about to have a if you're gonna put the belt on Osprey, just wait till All In and put it on him in his country, in his home country. I mean, just for the pop alone, man. It's just come on, that's good business there. And just have some and build it up and build it up. It's not built up enough yet, but really build it up, really sell some more tickets to this thing. You still have a ton of tickets to sell because you're in a giant stadium and nothing wrong with that. So you have a ton of tickets, and that's a way to sell a ton more. Just build this feud up, build it
Now
up with
they did
Swerve and
have the
Osprey.
stare down between MJF and Osprey to close out the show. So fuck,
Are you just
man.
gonna have Osprey lose
But they could go to Wembley with Osprey versus MJF being the main, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Tony, that's probably what you want. But in order to get there, you got to Swerve and just take the title off him. I mean, but man, Swerve is getting better every week. I think he needs. I would love it. He's good on the mic. I mean, he's not stuttering or anything. He's getting his point across. I think he can slow down a little bit more because when he slows down, that's really hits like that mean shit. Like sometimes he's like moving super fast for me, and I don't really know where, and I'm like, man, I was like, is he gonna lose it? He doesn't, so he's super fucking talented. But that's what I gotta say about that. And then my other note is just like, again, this is where I'm gonna get in on the marks here. I've been saying it for years, I've been saying it forever. Listen, guys, I'm gonna tell you again. There's two things that happened in pro wrestling. Number one, Joe Hendry appeared
Oh,
in NXT, and it has the most views of a video on WWE YouTube since WrestleMania, maybe with the exception of one. Joe Henry can
Hendry.
Hendry, sorry. Can someone tell me his move set? Like an elaborate move set?
Doesn't
No.
matter.
Doesn't matter because it doesn't fucking matter. None of that shit matters. You want to be a star in pro wrestling? Grab a fucking guitar, get a badass theme song, and be a character and invoke emotion out of people. That's how it's done. It's not done through the CMMLs of the world. It's not done through your technical bullshit. It's not done through your bangers. It's just simply not. I haven't seen the Battle Royal. I didn't watch any of it, but I saw Joe Hendry's entrance and it was fucking awesome. And he's been doing an incredible job on social. The other side of the coin, no pun intended, but pun intended, is Okada. I rode Okada's ass for about 2 years, even when he wasn't in AEW, making him the poster child of you're actually boring, you're not that exciting when you come to the US. And I was right. But now he's saying the word bitch. And guess what? He's more over than he's ever been. Period. His little line and the charisma he has, which he is showing, that is more over than anything he will ever do in the ring. And that's correct. That's my take, and my take is factual. And based on the last thing I'll say, based on the reaction, I'm fucking right.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And people don't realize that. Look what people are remembered for through the years? Like at the most that they're remembered. They're not remembered for the moves. Obviously, Stone Cold remembered for the stunner, but he's also remembered for what? He's also remembered for just walk his the glass breaking, walk into the ring. The Rock's more remembered for his catchphrases. Yeah, you have the rock bottom, the people's elbow, but people more remember the catchphrases. Daniel Bryan got over with yes. Another one, Rusev Day, when he was the most over, when people yelled Rusev. Those are the things that get over. Those are the things that hook people. It's not because they're great wrestlers. It's not because they anything in the ring. It's what gets over to the people, the things they can say or things that they're just going to remember. Joe Hendry was the first person out of that battle royal. Does anybody care that he was eliminated first out of that battle royal? No,
No.
not one person gives, besides like the super niche basement dwelling Mark, cares that he was the first person eliminated. That video alone is the second most liked video on WWE social media since WrestleMania. That's unbelievable for Joe Hendry, a guy who's in TNA, because of how over he's gotten with the song and how catchy it is and how creative he is. And I have never watched a Joe Hendry match, and I love Joe Hendry.
Love Joe Hendry.
I don't care to watch a Joe. He could be dog shit in the ring for all I care. I don't care.
And I'm sure he's not. And
no, I'm sure he's not.
I got hit up with a lot of comments. People like, he's actually pretty good in the ring.
I bet he is.
I'm like, that's great, but like, I don't even. I am telling you, like, it doesn't matter.
When
like,
it happens, when I have the chance to watch it, I will watch it. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter right now. I have to.
And the only reason people care about him getting eliminated first is because he is Joe Hendry, and everyone wanted to see him.
Yeah.
And dude, and he's mastering social media. Like him, like asking, like, hey, like, how he asked the Sphere in Las Vegas. Like, he's like, how much would it cost? How much would a charitable donation? How much of a charitable donation do I need to make in order to get my face on that Sphere for like 10 minutes?
And people
because he knows what it will do for him. Like guys like Cardona probably watch him and say, this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He gets it. He understands. Like, I just don't get the group of wrestling fans, Ben, that still don't motherfucking get it. And
this is all the years they've watched, they still
after
don't get
all
it.
the years they watch it, there's still people that listen to like Dave Meltzer explain what's going on and think this guy has a remote idea of what good pro wrestling is. That guy is the antithesis of what good pro wrestling is. He has no clue, zero clue what actually is entertaining versus not. Run in the other direction. If he has an opinion, just run in the other fucking direction of it. It ain't worth it.
Yep.
Anything else, Ben? What do we got else for the show today?
Oh, anything else? I mean, I got a big question for you, Nick. And this has been, now we're getting to kind of crunch time of what I'm about to mention. The TV deal. What do you think? This has been a big Mark question for everybody, and Reddit's been going crazy. And so just want to know, what do you think? What do you think's going to happen? What do you think that now, just to put in perspective, they're thinking, Tony wants a pretty big, like a 3 times deal here of the original deal. I think the original deal was around like $50 million a year for 5 years. He wants a big one. He wants like 150. Yeah, he really wants like 200. But, I think he's looking about a 3 times deal here. I think they get it.
No.
I find it hard to believe. I do.
There's no reason to get it. Like, there's no reason to be clamoring for it that much right now. Like,
no,
I don't think they're gonna get that type of money. I think they're gonna get more than what was the bottom offer. I think they're gonna get more than that. But they're gonna get enough where like it's spinnable. Like they will spin it into like, this is a great deal. And I really don't care what it is. Personally, I don't give a shit. I don't think it doesn't matter to me. But there's a reason why you're not going to get the big number. And that's just because you're not doing what we say to do on this podcast. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to tell you, but that's my thoughts.
Listen to us. Listen to us.
Honestly, I mean, I never wrestled in a ring. I'm not trained, and I'm booked for a pro wrestling show. Maybe it has something to do with, I know, like bet,
you know what you're doing. You get it.
I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a wrestler. Am I athletic? Like, do I look decent? Yeah. but I'm not a wrestler. But for somehow I'm booked on a pro wrestling show. And it's because of, just understanding the, some level of what's entertaining to some people. It's not that difficult. It is difficult, but you need to be God gifted and talented like myself. Anyway, Ben, that's all I got for this week.
Nothing
Ben
else.
and I are super fucking busy, folks. Just letting you know.
We are.
Again, I just want to say this before we sign off. Ben and I have real jobs. Unlike everyone else that has these shows, that's what they do for a living. We have real jobs and families. I just want to let you guys know that. So be appreciative of everything we do for you, Ben.
Yeah, everything we do for you.
Yes.
Just be appreciative and always keep it positive, keep it trucking, keep the shades on until the sun never sets. On a cool guy.
Later, Marks.